Hey guys, good evening there. It is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. Whether you're here at 10:50 at night, 10:50 in the morning, 1 a.m., 1 p.m., or perhaps 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., doesn't matter. Really grateful that you've made the choice to be here with me. You know that I'm here all the time for you guys, creating massive, high-quality content to, yes, raise your vibration. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Our master topics, which start up on Saturday, roll all the way through the week, and finish up on Friday. And our master topic for the week, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't catch it before, what is manifestation energy? We are on, yes, series 3, means we're in the 3rd year, and we are on show number 7. And so today's specific master topic that gets more granular is how to raise your vibration to manifest. We're on show 3, series 3 again, show 7, and we're on episode number 4. Remember, we have 7 episodes in the week that are part of a show. All right. So first thing, when we think about manifestation, think of manifestation as a frequency, okay? And so when you become in alignment with that frequency, guess what happens? You're able to, yes, make the difference. And so, but connecting and getting in line with that frequency is hard for a lot of people. Why? Well, because they have a hard time understanding that everything is energy. Yes, most people don't know how to manifest. And you might be saying, well, John, I've tried it. It doesn't work. Well, it's not something you just push a button and it works. You're creating a vision for the future. You're putting energy into it and intention and making that vision a reality. All right. The thing about manifestation is that it's kind of like woo-woo to some people because they can't like touch it. They can't wrap themselves around it. Okay. But it still exists. And so what I want to talk about tonight is how we can raise our manifestation energy. And so that's our vibration, really, right? So the first thing I want to tell you to do is really cool, and that is to make gratitude a habit from your heart. Now, what do I mean by make it from your heart? Make it a habit from your heart. Well, we know that there are good habits and we know that there are bad habits, right? A habit is nothing more than something we do recurringly. Usually after it becomes a habit, it's an unconscious pattern of behavior that our body just elicits all the time without us even being aware, or when certain triggers or situations are present. One of the biggest ones I can share with you is a lot of my friends, they like to speed, unfortunately. And so whenever they're around me in the car and there's a cop and let's say the cop cars, sirens are on, even though I'm doing the speed limit or just doing right where I'm supposed to be in that limit, they get all like I can see them getting flustered, their hearts, what's the matter? I said, oh, nothing. And I said, what, the siren? He says, oh yeah. He says, well, whenever I hear a siren, it just kind of, puts me into an oblivion. And I said to him, I said, well, why do you think that is? He said, I don't know. He said, I just get very, very uptight. I said, did you ever get stopped by a cop car? I says, yeah, all the time. I said, and I bet your blood really boiled at that point. He says, yeah. And so I just get very nervous whenever I'm around them. Now, we're not talking about how to get rid of that habit. That's something else. But so making gratitude a habit from your heart. When we do that, it's not just thinking. It's not the thinking stuff. It's the feeling stuff. Okay? And I will tell you that it can take time, ladies and gentlemen. It can take time. It's because a lot of people don't understand this one thing. And you know what the one thing is? The one thing is that your heart is the CEO, okay? The chief executive officer, not just the financial officer, the chief executive officer. Okay, so your heart is more in control than your brain. Well, John, I don't quite understand that. So yes, your brain does run your body, but only under the direction of your heart. Your heart is the producer. Let's think about it in terms of like, stage terms, right? For movie recording. So you have the camera people, right? You have the actors, and they're very vital. But the real key part is the producer. The producer decides who gets hired, who gets fired, the blocking. They decide all that stuff. What kind of scene we're going to have, what kind of shoot we're going to have. It's all up to the producer, right? And so this is why this becomes so important to understand, these different levels. And our heart, ladies and gentlemen, it runs our body. Now, we'll talk a little more about how to get more in control of the heart. But today, I just want to let you know that I want you to feel gratitude from within the heart. So maybe you had something happen today. Maybe you had a great meal or whatever it was. What was the last thing you can remember? Maybe you had a good meal. So I want you to feel gratitude for that great meal you had. Maybe it was just a snack before. Maybe it was an apple pie like I just had. Or maybe it was some homemade pancakes in the morning. Or maybe it was a lunch. Whatever it was, feel gratitude. You know what else I have gratitude for? I have gratitude from our Creator for giving me energy, for inspiring me to keep being here, and also for getting me home safely tonight and every night and keeping me safe on the road. I don't take that for granted. I ask for God's grace, and I ask for his protection and the angel's blessing over me. Okay? And then always thanking him for that, and even if I slip and I don't, I am truly always grateful for that grace, for what happens. And that's pretty important to me. So having gratitude. So let's talk about this right now. What are some things you can have gratitude for? What are some things you can have gratitude for? Well, there's so many things, guys. I mean, I could go into hundreds and hundreds, but let's talk about some gratitude things. Some things you could be grateful for are your family and the people around that love you, friends that you relate to, a significant other who reminds you you're not alone, your eyes that allow you to see the world's beauty, ears that allow you to receive the tremendous sounds from music and nature and people, a nose that gives you the privilege to smell, arms that allow you to hold whatever it is you want, legs that give you the freedom to get up and walk, a mouth that lets you taste delicious foods, and of course, the ability to talk. Being able to have a great night's sleep. I'm grateful for meditations. I'm grateful for my mindful meditation. I'm grateful for the lessons I learn every single day. Now, tonight, here was an interesting one. I was talking with somebody. I was actually at a play practice. And, I always say that you got to be fair to everybody, right? So there were people talking, but very quietly, and I was too. And it's funny, when I was talking, the one person there told me to be quiet, but didn't tell anybody else to be quiet. So I think that's kind of a little bit unfair. And so my lesson tonight was that many people just believe the world is about them. Many people believe the world is just about them. So again, many people believe the world is just about them. Why? I think it can be challenging. The reason it can be challenging is because most people don't understand. And I know that it's about you. And I also know that it's amazing how everything goes well. It's amazing how sometimes you just have to ask for a little bit of grace. You know what I mean? What does that mean? Grace. Grace is something that I think a lot of people don't know about. Grace is something that is something that eludes a lot of people. I think a lot of people that are in our world today don't know what grace is. So, does it mean when you ask for grace? Grace is power. Grace allows us to move in certain ways to fulfill or resolve challenges. Grace is something that we don't just open a package and we receive. Grace is God's forgiveness. Grace is allowance. Grace is that power that enables us to get over that weakness we might have, or whenever we feel we're not enough, or maybe we feel that we can't. That's God's grace. Grace is when we're able to dig deep into our heart and be proud of our humility. Grace to me is not something to boast about. It's something to allow us to get to the next step in our life. The other day, we were having some challenges because, as you guys know, we were moving out of our one location, and our landlord and their administrative team were they were very hard. Challenging us, saying, you're making noise, challenging us, saying we can't stage things in the hallway. And I didn't exactly say, hey, God, I need your grace, but he knew that's what I needed. And I'm grateful for the grace that he gave me that day, because that was a stressful day, a very stressful one. Maybe you're in a new relationship and you just need some grace because people are a little bit all over the place. Maybe you're with a new friend and that friend is like driving you crazy, but just allow God to give you some grace. And that can kind of make everything okay. Grace is amazing. But what is God's grace, if I want to talk about it from that perspective? It's kindness and favoritism toward us. It's a state of kindness that he shows us. Okay? And so God's grace is his justice in holiness. God's grace is there to be that hand for us, to send us a present, which is the Holy Spirit, to send us his love. There was a passage, I think it was in Timothy 2:1, where Paul instructs Timothy, and he says, quote, "Be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus," close quote, which helps me remember back to that of Star Wars. When some of us are strong in the Force, but grace is really unlike the Force of Star Wars. It's about universal power. It's contrast grace for the believer. Sometimes your world might seem like, everything's going wrong in it. Maybe you're feeling like, hey, God, why are you doing this to me? Like, what's happening? And just asking God for his grace will get you through it until he's ready to show you his next way. Grace is not something that people will see just from being something the first day. Grace is an understanding. Grace is something that I can't just put in words. Yes, it's forgiveness. And it's also the support and love that we don't see, but we can feel. So when I had that day, and like I told you, it was a challenging day. I didn't say to God, hey, I need your grace, but all I did was pray to have a good day. And I was grateful in his grace in even though there was going to be some stresses, that he put the sun out for me. And I saw that as the first sign of God's grace that day. So what does the sun out mean? Is that a good sign? When you're doing something, does it mean anything? So the sun has meant a lot for many, many years. The sun is a symbol of power, life, and energy. And it's the giver of light and warmth. And it's associated with positive attributes through history, etc. Sun is perhaps the most prominent sign of life. The sun can be seen as a metaphor for hope and new beginnings. When things are looking bleak or they're looking sad, the sun is shining somewhere. Sun symbolizes hope. Hope. But on that day, when I was outside, I was actually very earlier than I need to be there for the move, but I was there early. And the move people weren't there yet, and it was still running a little behind, but the sun was out. I looked up a moment, I'm like, oh yeah, the sun is out. I'm like, that's a great sign. The sun is out. God's blessing me with his grace that today is going to go well. What does God's grace mean to you if you had to ask yourself that question? Well, it depends on the person, right? It's a gift from God that we did not deserve or can't earn. In fact, anything we get from God, I don't want to say that we do not deserve it, because we are deserving of everything. But it's an immense gift. It's also known as the power of the Holy Spirit. It's kindness from God. It's a free gift that we didn't earn directly. See, God doesn't count the number of successes or failures you have to see who receives his love. He instead draws upon the intention of his will. He says, grace to you and grace with you. So definitely remember gratitude. That's very important. Another thing I want to tell you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is smile. Just smile. When somebody else sees your smile, guess what? They're going to probably smile back. 9 times out of 10. Listen to some great music. Of course, there's certain frequencies you can listen to, and we've talked about that before, but just listen to some great music that makes you feel well. I know there's a song that I often play. called I Don't Know What to Say. And after listening to it, it puts me in a state of grace. Oh, really will put you in a state of grace, ladies and gentlemen? Hanging out in nature. Hanging out in nature. That's what will put you in a state of grace. That might sound crazy, but it is the truth. So we learned a lot today. In order to keep our vibration up, we need to do things like constantly be grateful, smile, listen to music, hang out in nature, right? And when this happens, it becomes a natural habit of ours. Habits can be good and they can be bad. Why not form good habits that we enjoy and that are going to improve the quality of our life? So we've just started to scratch the outside the egg to manifestation. But energy is what creates, or I should say, brings into current what we want. Because with manifestation, nothing's ever created or destroyed. It always is. We just have to tune into it. That's amazing, right? Well, guys, I hope you'll definitely do this tonight. Maybe take a few moments and just be grateful for everything you have. Be grateful for the thoughts you have. Be grateful for the skills you have. Be grateful for where you are right now. And I want to leave you with three important things, which we'll talk more about in the week. And that is, to manifest, you need to ADA. You need to accept. You need to say, I deserve it. And you need to allow it. So accept, deserve, and allow. Once you do that, well, the order has been sent to the kitchen. And it won't be long before it actually comes out to your table, proverbially. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic evening. Of course, you know that I am a podcast host and a podcast coach. And I'm a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and, of course, being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. Now, I typically do work with companies that bring in 10 million or more. They either know the core of their truth or they want me to find it for them. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. And remember, manifestation is not some button you just press. It's your humbleness to connect with the universe and divine to allow you to co-create together to bring about things that'll make your life better and the world better for other people. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, all right?